So you support a bad president?
Listen, I support the Republican conservative views.
Wait. You support Trump as president, yes or no?
Yes, because of how.
Wait, stop. You think Donald Trump is a bad president, yes or no?
Yes.
Whoa, stop. Therefore, you support a bad president, yes or no?
Listen.
No,
okay.
no. Therefore, you support a bad president, yes or no?
Yes, I support a bad president.
What's up, Isaiah? Do you support Trump as president?
Yes, sir. I support Trump.
And how old are you?
I'm 19.
Go ahead and tell us why you support Trump as president.
I support Trump mainly because of the policies that he has. Well, not really his policies, but his core beliefs that the party represents.
Okay, it's not about his policies, it's about his core beliefs. So what are his core beliefs that makes you support him as president?
I would say his support on pro-life, immigration, the border, all the stuff like that. But then we get into the part of, I do not believe that Trump is a good guy, as he is very, very questionable with the things he's done. I don't think that, but I think that what he represents in the Republican Party is why I voted for him.
Yeah, I have a question. Do you think it'd be because you're pro-life, do you think it'd be wrong if a mother beat, tortured, and starved the fetus growing in her uterus?
Well, yeah, obviously that's wrong.
Do you think that that'd be antithetical to the core values of the pro-life worldview?
To harm another human life?
Yeah, to beat, for a pregnant woman to beat, torture, and starve the fetus growing in her uterus.
Yeah, that's pretty much wrong.
Yeah, that is antithetical to the core values of the pro-life view?
Yeah, that's wrong.
Okay, then why do you agree with Donald Trump on immigration, considering the fact that he had Abrigo Garcia illegally deported to Secot in El Salvador, where he was beaten and tortured and starved for 3 months? Are you just telling me that you only really care about the state and well-being of a human life, given that it is inside of a woman's uterus, but if it is outside of a woman's uterus and an immigrant in this country, all of a sudden you're willing to sweep them right under the rug?
Okay, but I want to ask you, what did that guy do to get sent back?
Nothing. His removal was illegal, as ruled on by SCOTUS on April 10th with a 9-0 decision.
Okay, well that gets us to the point where wrong stuff happens. There's nothing that you can do to justify that, or I could say that to justify that, because that's not what the party represents or what we want that to be. You know what I'm saying? We want justice done for the people like that.
Okay. Well, I think if you truly want justice and fair treatment for all, then your first question wouldn't have been, what did he do to deserve to be beaten and tortured and starved for 3 months?
Well, obviously that there's different outcomes for why stuff like that happens. And I was getting to the point if maybe he had done something to get sent over there to begin with. Okay, now we're to the point that happened. All right, that's not how that should go. And I think honestly that he should have some type of justice done for him and his family, because that is not what we want to do as the Republican Party that supports.
So we should be giving justice to families? It's ripping families apart, justice? Because that's exactly what Donald Trump's mass deportation is doing.
I think that the mass majority of the Republican Party has already come out and said that we want to keep the families together while they're getting deported.
Oh, so you'd deport citizens too? Because a lot of the children of undocumented immigrants born on American soil are citizens per the 14th Amendment. Or do you just agree with Trump when he tried to pass Executive Order number 14160, his first day in office, to illegally take birthright citizenship away from the children of undocumented immigrants born on American soil, infringing on the core American value of the 14th Amendment of the American Constitution, which expressly gives birthright citizenship to everyone born on American soil?
I think that if you're here illegally with not the papers that say you're allowed to be here illegally, that you should get sent back. And now does that suck if you have a family here that is legal? Yeah, but that's your fault for putting in a situation where the opportunity presents itself for you to get sent back after the fact that you're already not legally here.
I'd actually arguably say it's the Trump administration's fault for supporting such devastatingly harmful policy, both economically and humanitarianly, to begin with, of mass deportation. I mean, how the hell can you stand behind a policy that, according to the American Immigration Council, is going to reduce our GDP by $1.1 trillion through $1.7 trillion per year, while costing $2 trillion over the next 10 years and reducing government revenue by over $100 billion per year, as that is the taxes in which undocumented immigrants pay?
Can you repeat that again?
I think it is the fault of the Trump administration for supporting such a devastatingly harmful policy to begin with of mass deportation. According to the American Immigration Council, mass deportation is going to reduce our GDP by $1.1 trillion through $1.7 trillion per year if we were to remove all undocumented immigrants tomorrow by forcefully deporting 8.3 million of our workers and removing 11 million of our consumers, while also costing $2 trillion over the next 10 years to fund ICE, build the detention centers, and manage the deportations, while also reducing our government revenue in that same time span by $1 trillion as undocumented immigrants pay over $100 billion in taxes per year.
So you think that just because somebody's undocumented, that they should stay here just for the fact that they make American product better?
That's one of the many facts, yes.
Don't you think that's kind of wrong to keep them here just for the fact that they make the economic growth better when they could have, even if it's not here for their beliefs of being free? So you think they should just be allowed to be here for work?
So, I mean, I just clarified that's one of the many reasons why I think that they should be allowed to be here. And are you telling me that it's wrong to support policy that makes this country better? And if you are telling me that it's wrong to support policy that makes this country better, then it makes sense why you support Trump.
Say that again.
Are you telling me that it's wrong to support policy that makes this country better, such as how mass amnesty of giving undocumented immigrants a pathway to residency or citizenship would make this country better, as they'd be able to continue productively providing to America? And then once again, if you are telling me that it's wrong to support policy that makes this country better, I said that it makes sense that you support Trump.
So you think mass amnesty is what we should do for the undocumented that work here?
Yeah, I think that that's what we should do for any and all undocumented immigrants in America without prior violent offenses. Pretty insane nonviolent criminal offenses are pretty insane outstanding warrants from other countries. Yes.
I think that's pretty insane to say that people here illegally, that are just allowed to be legal citizens just because they're here illegally. That doesn't make sense.
So insane is not an argument. It's a word used in absence of argument. If you have any good reasons why mass amnesty is bad, feel free to give them to me. But as it sits right now, I don't think you do. And you're calling it insane because that's what the guy on Fox News told you to think.
Okay, so you're saying that even though they're here legally, but they're not committing a crime. So you think that being here illegally is not committing a crime?
I said they're here undocumented, meaning they did commit a federal misdemeanor. I'm going to go ahead and continue to speak. I said that they are here undocumented, and undocumented entry into this country is a federal misdemeanor, which is a crime. However, I particularly said that I think they should be offered a pathway to residency or citizenship, given that they don't have any violent crimes on their record, or pretty insane / bad non-violent crimes on their record. So you were just changing what I said to attempt to appeal to fit a position. Now, are you saying that they should be removed from the country because they committed that misdemeanor?
I'm saying that if you're here illegally, then you should get sent back. But I do agree
because they broke the law.
Yeah, that's breaking the law.
Okay, so committing a federal misdemeanor warrants expulsion from the country, but committing 34 felonies and being held civilly liable for rape warrants entry into the White House. How is that not hypocritical?
If you're illegal, if you're a legal citizen, you should go through the American process system of getting prosecuted.
Okay.
But if you're not illegal, then you should get sent back to the country that you're from.
I don't understand. Could you repeat what I said just to make sure we're on the same page here? Because you're not responding to what I said.
You said that if a felony offense that is liable to go to prison.
No, what I said is that I think it's hypocritical for you to suggest that if you commit a misdemeanor, that would warrant expulsion from the country. But if you commit 34 felonies and are held civilly liable for rape, that would warrant entry into the White House to run the country. I think that's hypocritical. I do.
I am not saying that. I would, if I could change Donald Trump from being president today for a different candidate in the Republican Party, I would. Okay, he is the last person. I think that he's a lot of problems with what's wrong with America. Okay, but that's not changing my opinions from the conservative views. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay, so you're saying that even though he's a felon, he should be able to run the country because you think he's good for the country? So even though undocumented immigrants have committed a misdemeanor, they should be able to stay in the country because they're good for the country. Boom.
I'm not saying that he's good for the country. Okay,
if he's not good for the country, then you wouldn't support him as president. So you are saying that.
No, I'm saying I'm supporting. I'm a conservative. I support the Republican Party.
Oh, okay, so you're saying that he's bad for the country, but ultimately he's a member of your party, so you place your party over your country?
I place my views and my personal views of what I think the country should be on. And like I said, since
if you're telling us that you place like your personal views on the way in which you think the country should be governed, then you're telling me that Donald Trump would fall in alignment with those views, meaning that you think he's governing the country in a way in which you think it should be.
No, I said he falls into the party that I vote for.
Exactly. So then you are saying party over country. I was right.
I think that the conservative party is best for the country, yes. I'm not saying that the head of the conservative party, Mr. Donald Trump, should be the leader of that, because I don't think that he should be. He's not. I think that he's not a good president.
Yeah,
I think that
I don't even think that Donald Trump falls in alignment with like supposed like conservative values. Like I hear like
Yeah, I would agree
conservatives
with you. I
shouting
would
and
agree
screaming
with
like
you.
all the time about like freedom of speech and like personal liberties and freedoms, right?
Yeah, I would agree with you.
And if you're aligned with the same conservative values, why don't you reject Donald Trump as a good president or a good leader, given the fact that he's violated the First Amendment like a billion times in the last 8 months? He said
I
that it's
do
illegal to
I do
criticize him in the
reject
media.
Donald
He tried to get Jimmy Kimmel canceled because he said something that he didn't like. He passed an executive order attempting to ban the burning of the American flag, even though the SCOTUS ruled in 1989 in the Texas v. Johnson court case that is explicitly protected under symbolic speech following from freedom of speech under the First Amendment. He said that it's illegal to boycott and protest. Like obviously, right? He's not just standing in opposition to these quote unquote conservative values, but he's actively eroding and attacking them. Yet you're telling me because of these conservative values that you support him as president. It's just a big gumbled, jarbled mess.
I don't know why you keep saying I support him as president. I've already said that I don't.
Okay, if you don't support him as president, well, could you please read this sentence for me?
Okay, but this gets into the argument of that I think there's a lot of people.
Wait.
that don't support him.
Seriously, could you please read the sentence?
Okay, listen, I have to support Trump because he is what the Conservative Party has placed in the top of the.
Okay, so then you're saying that you do support him.
Forcefully, almost, I have to support Trump because.
Wait, who are
I'm
you
a
being
conservative.
forced to support Trump? Who's forcing you to support Trump?
The Republican Party, by keep putting him in the position to get elected in.
Okay, so you're saying that regardless of who the Republican candidate was, you would ultimately support them?
Because of how the Republican views align with my views.
Okay,
Yes.
so if Kamala Harris ran as a Republican, holding the same views that she did in the election, and Donald Trump ran as a Democrat, holding on to the same views he did in the election, who would you have voted for?
Obviously Kamala Harris.
Okay, so then you are telling me that you ultimately do place party over country. See, I think that you are a big problem with American politics today, where you want it sensationalized and as something equivalent to that of a college football game. The material outcomes of the candidates or the presidents doesn't matter to you. All that matters to you is the slogan of a party affiliation that they're slinging while they're doing it, right? Like you're literally telling me that Donald Trump could be the complete opposite of everything that he is today by literally being Kamala Harris, and you would still support Kamala Harris as president, given that she was registered as a Republican because she would fall in alignment with your party, sir. The point is that you shouldn't vote on party lines. The point is that you should vote for the candidate in which aligns with the most benevolent values, right? And party lines do not always fall in line with the most benevolent values. Like, for instance, maybe we're 30 years in the future from now, party switch occurs, and then all of a sudden, it's the Republicans that are standing for basic fundamental human rights, equality for all, tax protections for like low and middle income Americans, so on and so forth. I'm going to be voting Republican, right? But you're telling me that regardless of the values in which the candidate stands for or stands behind, you're ultimately going to vote for the candidate in which would fall unto your tribe, sir. Tribalism is dogmatism, which is incredibly damaging and erodes the foundation of this country as it shifts your perspective from not caring about the future of the country, only caring about which party will govern its future, regardless of what that future looks like.
No, what I'm saying is that my beliefs right now as the conservative, I think that the Conservative Party and the Republican Party is best fit for the country. That's putting my country above the party, okay? But that is why I'm saying right now that the Republican Party is best fit for to run the country in my views as a conservative male. Now I'm saying if the party flipped, okay, and the Democrats and the Republicans flipped, I don't care about the label as a Republican or conservative. I care about what's best for the country in my political views.
No, you don't, because you told me that if Kamala Harris was a Republican, then you would have voted for her. False.
Yeah, because if her views was lined as Republican views, that's what I would.
So then it's about the views. So what views does Donald Trump hold that makes you support him as president?
I said the pro-life, okay, pro-strong borders, and that's my two big. That's my two
Strong
big
borders. So what good border policy has Donald Trump implemented in the last 8 months?
He has had the biggest mass deportation that we've seen.
Name one material positive outcome of mass deportation on America.
More American jobs, more American job opportunities for Americans. Like you talked about this whole live stream, how there's less jobs for Americans than there has been because the unemployment's higher than more jobs. Well, the more the illegal immigrants that we take out, the more jobs that we create open for American citizens.
Okay, well, I mean, I think that you just kind of refuted yourself in that last sentence, because it is the case that if it created more open job opportunities for Americans, then why are there more unemployed Americans?
I'm saying that what you said is how there's more unemployment than there is job opportunity.
Right.
Okay,
Wouldn't that refute the notion that the like mass deportation is like doing what you're saying it is? Because
I'm saying
following the last like 8 to 9 months of mass deportation from the Trump administration, there's more unemployed Americans with less open job opportunity.
Okay, so if you get rid of these illegal immigrants, their job opportunities, that job opportunities opens up for more Americans. Therefore, the unemployment would go down for Americans.
Wait, but why has the unemployment gone up for Americans in the last 8 months? Doesn't that prove you wrong?
No, because the whole mass deportation hasn't. It's still underway.
It's still underway. Got it. So yeah, actually you're wrong. Downsizing the labor force doesn't open up more job opportunity. I could prove this with like one sentence. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Was the labor force bigger or smaller than it is today 100 years ago?
Probably bigger than what it was.
The labor force was larger 100 years ago? Sir, that's not how population growth works.
I'm not sure what you're asking me. Ask me the question.
Was the labor force larger or smaller than what it is today 100 years ago?
No, obviously not. We have way more people now.
So it was smaller 100 years ago. Was there more job opportunity or less job opportunity 100 years ago when the labor force was smaller?
I would say that I don't know the statistics, but I would assume that the labor force was less.
So the labor force was smaller and there was less job opportunity.
That's what I would assume, yes.
Right? That's what's true. Argument made.
I don't understand how that correlates to anything that I have said.
Because you were saying that mass deportation will open up more job opportunity by downsizing the labor force. But historically speaking, the smaller our labor force is, there's actually been less job opportunity.
Okay, well, that's a bad argument because think of how much more like large corporations we have now than we have then. That there's job opportunities that need filled from new people. Those jobs just aren't going away when we get rid of these people.
The reason that we have more large corporations offering more jobs today than we did 100 years ago is actually because we have a larger labor force, right? Think about it this way. Under capitalism, like the labor force and employee positions at companies aren't like losing positions for their employers. See, the employers are profiting off of their employees. The employees generate an ROI for them. And then with that additional money, they then reinvest into their business to grow and expand it, in turn offering more jobs. All right. So with a larger labor force, right, and a more productive consumer base that's spending more, we would expect a more prosperous economy with more GDP growth and more job opportunities, right? Therefore, when we forcefully downsize the labor force, unexpected and unbeknownst to the producers, firing 8.3 million of their laborers and removing 11 million of their consumers, our economy starts a downspin. That's why the American Immigration Council tells us that if we were to remove all undocumented immigrants tomorrow, our GDP would fall by 1.1 through 1.7 trillion dollars. When you compile that fact with another fact that they pay taxes and we're no longer going to be getting that taxable revenue and we got to spend trillions of dollars to deport them from the country, the economy is not just less productive, but it's going to be harder to make more productive through government subsidies because we have less money to give.
I can see what you're saying, but here's what I think. That, yeah, it would go down for a little bit. But as soon as Americans, like, it would take time for Americans to start filling those jobs. But then once Americans start filling those jobs, then you would see unemployment. You would see unemployment fall to what it has, what has been really high. But you would see it go down because these Americans would get these jobs. But like you said, yes, the GDP would go way down to start because that is empty work that is not being filled. But as soon as the Americans would start taking these jobs, then we'd start seeing stuff prosper. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we shouldn't expect Americans to just fill every job opportunity created by mass deportation. There's already 8 million open job opportunities in America today that Americans aren't filling, so why would you expect them to fill the 8.3 million job opportunities created by mass deportation? And then second note here, even if they somehow did fill every single job opportunity created, still yet there would be a total amount of less job opportunity due to the fact that, well, I'd say that supply is created by demand, right? And there's nothing that we could do to fill the shoes of the 11 million undocumented demanders we'd be removing from the economy. So overall, we would expect less supply.
I want to ask, how many unemployment Americans do we have in America?
Can you respond to what I just said there? Because the total amount of unemployed Americans doesn't really concern any of the points that I just made.
Well, I just have that question because I want to go off of the point you said that those immigrants fill 8.8 million jobs, okay? And you already said that there's 8.8 million job opportunities right now. Is the unemployment bigger or higher than 8.8 million right now?
I know that there's more unemployed Americans than there is open job opportunities.
Okay, but I know you said that, but I want you to look up and tell me that there's more than 8.8 unemployed Americans.
There's 8
right
million
now.
Open job opportunities, or there was like 2 months ago. Sure, I'll prove that too while you respond to my last argument, because this wasn't my last argument. This is a point that I made 10 minutes ago. I'll happily prove it to you, but please respond to my last two arguments because this is a pivot.
Okay, let me hear your last two arguments again.
Why should I repeat them? Why weren't you listening?
Because I was thinking about what I was going to say, just like you do.
Jesus Christ. No, I listen to everything that you say. This is why I haven't asked you to repeat yourself at any point in our conversation. Meanwhile, you've asked me to repeat myself nearly every single point in the conversation.
I think I've asked you 3 times.
Right. Yes, exactly. You've asked me to repeat 3 of my arguments 3 times. Right.
All right, can you just ask me one more? Can you just repeat what you said one more time so I can give you a response?
Okay. I will try. I will try to do this one last time here. Okay? I don't even remember where I was at. I think that you were telling us that, well, Americans are going to fill the job opportunities left open after the mass deportation, and then our economy will bounce back. So even if they fill every job opportunity created by mass deportation, still yet our economy is going to be significantly worse off because American citizens can't just get up and fill the shoes left by the deportation of the 11 million undocumented immigrants that were demanders and consumers of goods produced by those job opportunities.
I would say that there is truth to that, but I agree with what you say right there.
Okay, then overall you agree that the economy is going to be worse off following a mass deportation.
No, I'm just saying that I don't think
that's what it amounts to. That's what it amounts to. That's a loss in demand of American-produced goods.
That's loss in demand for right now. Okay, that is going to be
no. That's not true. That restriction will forever persist. It's not for right now. It'll never be reversed as long as we uphold mass deportation. That overall net loss will be forever persisting. No one will ever be able to fill the shoes created by those undocumented immigrants that are left following their removal. No one. That's just not how it works. There will be a persistent and never filled vacancy of these would-be 11 million demanders in the market that will create a persistent and never fixed inefficiency in demand of American goods, thereby mitigating GDP growth and American company performance. That's like, how is that going to be fixed in the future?
I see what you're saying. So I guess I have to ask you, okay, about this whole thing.
No, answer my question. You said that that's just going to be a short-term issue, but not in the long term. How's that going to be fixed in the long term?
I would say that it maybe not be completely fixed, but I'm saying I would say that I'd rather have Americans have those jobs and Americans be taken care of first.
Okay, you're not answering my question.
In the long term, it would, like I said, it would take more time for these Americans to fill these jobs. Like it's not going to happen overnight.
Now you're so confused because we're not even talking about jobs. We're talking about
no. I know what you're saying.
We're not talking about the supply side of the economy. We're talking about the demand side of the economy. You told me that inevitably, sure, I understand what you're saying, Dean. The issue of removing 11 million American demanders from the demand side of the American economy is going to hurt the American economy in the short term, but it's going to like self-adjust in the long term. How's it going to self-adjust in the long term? How's it going to fix itself in the long term?
So all these immigrants that are working right now, what are they doing? They're working, okay?
You said the word work. That's on the supply side of the economy, meaning that you are deflecting as I specifically asked you a question about the demand side of the economy.
So how do these immigrants have anything to do with the demand side?
Because immigrants buy goods to live. Duh.
So you don't think so? So you think that they should be able to buy their stuff because they're illegally here, and so that makes it okay for them to do that?
I'm actually not giving you a should or moral or okay argument whatsoever. I'm giving you an empirical fact. That empirical fact being that they do buy goods, meaning that when you remove them, you remove their consumption and demand of consumption, immediately impacting GDP growth as you're removing some of said gross domestic product and impacting the producers that were making more goods at a higher level to fulfill the additional demand. I'm not giving you a should argument. I'm not telling you what I think should happen. These are just the facts, the economic facts.
I see what you're saying. Okay, I see what you're saying now. But can I ask you a question?
No, because you said that inevitably, even though removing the 11 million undocumented demanders in the economy would hurt our economy now, it's going to self-adjust and fix in the future. Explain why. I've asked you for an argument for that 3 times.
Okay, and I said that
the 4th time.
I'm just agreeing with you now, okay? I say that you're right on that.
Okay, if you agree that I'm right on that, then you agree that ultimately speaking, mass deportation is going to negatively impact the American economy now and in the future.
Okay, so then I have a question for you, okay?
Okay, well, I mean, actually, no, I have a question for you because remember, I asked you to detail one way that mass deportation would make this country better. You said it'd help the economy, but now you're conceding that it hurt the economy. So my question to you is, well, then let's go back to the first question. Now that you've agreed a con of mass deportation would be hurting the economy, what are the pros?
I want to ask you a question.
Because you can't identify a single pro of mass deportation?
No, because I want to. Do you think that they should only be allowed to stay here for economic reasons?
I thought I already answered that. I think that's one of the many reasons why I think they should be allowed to stay here. Now, please answer mine. Once again, the same question that is.
No, is that the only? Is that the only reason you had? Is that for economic reasons?
I literally thought that I just told you otherwise. I said that there's many reasons why I think that they should stay here. There's economic reasons, there's humanitarian reasons, and there's practical reasons.
Okay, what are your humanitarian reasons?
I'll happily give them to you after you answer my question, right? Because right now you're trying to shift the burden of proof onto me. Remember, you told me that you support Donald J. Trump because of his mass deportation. You have failed to identify any pros of mass deportation. You've conceded on the con that it'll hurt the American economy. You are going to have to be able to identify those pros to uphold your original position that mass deportation is good for the American is good for the country. So, what is an overall positive benefit of mass deportation on this country?
Okay, so would getting rid of violent offenders that are not legal here, is that good for the country?
Yeah, and I agree that we should be deporting or imprisoning undocumented immigrants with prior violent offenses on their records. But guess what? Because Donald Trump's scope of deportation has been all undocumented immigrants, not just those with prior violent offenses on their records. He's actually been deporting those with prior violent offenses on their records at lower levels than the Biden-Harris administration.
Okay, so then we agree.
Well, I mean, we were just agreeing that in alignment with the goal of making America better by either imprisoning or deporting undocumented immigrants with prior violent offenses on their records, that Kamala Harris was better at achieving this goal, meaning that Donald Trump would be the worst of two evils in this context, meaning that ultimately speaking, he doesn't align with your values. Kamala Harris did, and you should have voted for her, and you don't support Trump today.
I don't know how you got that.
Because she was able to successfully deport more undocumented immigrants with prior violent offenses on their records compared to Trump today. And that was the one positive identifiable pro of deportation that you were able to describe to us.
Okay, well, in their campaigns, Trump was pro strong borders. Okay, and that takes us back to the two sides of right now where they're at. The conservative side, strong borders, and that's not even saying.
Don't pivot. Wait. Now you're just saying that a positive outcome of mass deportation that you support is stronger borders.
I've said from the start that stronger borders, that strong borders.
Right, but then remember earlier I asked you, well, how's he making our border stronger? And you said mass deportation. So this is a circular argument. You're saying that mass deportation is good because it makes our border stronger, and it makes our border stronger because it's mass deportation. Circularity, sir.
So then we're just going to keep on going in circles.
Okay, so you admit that your argument is a circle. Circularity is illogical. I mean, it's anything but logical, right? It's literally a logical fallacy. It'd be the circular logical fallacy, meaning that you admit that your argument insofar as why you support Trump is fallacious.
No, that's not.
So now you're saying that circular argumentation is not fallacious. So
no, I'm saying.
Are you trying to argue that circular? I am right about that. So if you admit that that the reason insofar as why you support Donald Trump as president is logically fallacious, well, I feel like I've done my job. I've done it well.
No. Okay, first off, just take
wait. You don't think that I've successfully done my job well by getting you to concede to the fact that your argument for why you support Trump is logically fallacious? Is that not the...
Because you haven't. Because,
wait. I have a question. Should you reject all arguments that are logically fallacious?
No.
So I have you defending logical fallacies now. I mean, wow.
Okay, but this takes us back to the very start, okay? I said strong borders... I said strong borders, why I support Trump, strong borders, and pro-life.
I gotta replay that. 1 second. I gotta replay that Trump today. And that was the one positive...
First off, just take
you don't think that I've successfully done my job well by getting you to concede to the fact that your argument for why you support Trump is logically fallacious? Is that not the...
Because you haven't. Because,
wait. I have a question. Should you reject all arguments that are logically fallacious?
No.
Okay. Listen, if you shouldn't reject all arguments that are logically fallacious, I'm going to give you an argument why Donald Trump is a bad president, and I want you to, reject it, okay?
Okay.
Find a way to prove me wrong, okay?
All right, I'm listening.
Donald Trump is a bad president because Donald Trump is a bad president. Prove me wrong.
I would agree that Donald Trump is a bad president. We've already agreed on this.
So you support a bad president?
Listen, I support the Republican conservative views.
Wait. Just to clarify, you support Trump as president, yes or no?
Yes, because of how...
Wait, stop. You think Donald Trump is a bad president, yes or no?
Yes.
Whoa, stop. Therefore, you support a bad president, yes or no?
Listen.
No,
Okay.
no. Therefore, you support a bad president, yes or no?
I say Donald Trump is a bad president because of his characteristics of a human. Okay.
Therefore, you support a bad president, yes or no?
Yes, I support a bad president. I've already said that.
You know what? I think this debate's over. You told me that you don't reject all logically fallacious arguments, and you accept that you support a bad president. So you have a good rest of your day, Isaiah. Let's go to get that next Trump supporter loaded up into the box. Holy fucking cooked.